Greetings everyone, this is Kavita. Welcome to this channel. Today the topic which we are going to start is aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acid. This is from your class 12th part 2 textbook. The maximum weightage for organic chemistry is comprising from this chapter itself, and the whole chapter will not be possible to be covered in one video, so I'll be making a few videos on this, and let's begin this chapter. Alright, so let's have a look at the functional groups. These are aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acid. First of all, we will understand how these functional groups look like. Aldehydes, we can write it in this manner. This is the functional group of aldehydes. So we can write down the formula of aldehyde as CHO. Similarly, for ketones, the formula is going to be C double bond O. This will be the functional group for ketones. And for carboxylic acids, we have the formula as C double bond O OH. This is the functional group. So right now I have written in front of you the functional groups. Let us understand what is the exact difference between all these three. In the case of aldehydes, you will remember that this is going to be always the common factor, and on the left side where I have left the space, you can attach any group which can be an alkyl group or it can be an aryl group. When I say aryl group, it means it can be benzene or any of its derivatives. Okay. Now when we attach alkyl group, that becomes an aliphatic aldehyde. It's called as an aliphatic aldehyde. But when we attach a benzene ring or any derivative of benzene, then that becomes the aromatic aldehyde. Whatever the compound is, the main thing is that the functional group is going to be CHO. Coming to ketones, if you look at ketones, you can see that on both the sides we can have any kind of groups of our choice. Like for example, if I put RR, it becomes alkyl ketone or it becomes an aliphatic ketone. On the contrary, if we just replace one of them or both of them by benzene or its derivative, then that becomes an aromatic ketone. So the point is that whenever benzene is attached to the functional group, then that becomes your aromatic compound. Okay. Now this is your carboxylic acids functional group. So this is the carboxylic functional group. As you can see, it is made up of two groups over here, which we can show it like this. We have the C double bond O. Okay, we have C double bond O, which is called as carbonyl, and we have OH, that is called as hydroxyl. Okay, these are the two functional groups, carbonyl plus hydroxyl. If we just join them together, then we get the word carboxyl. So the word carboxylic is coming from the combination of two words, carbonyl plus hydroxyl, and hence we can understand that the properties of carboxylic acids are going to be a blend of carbonyl carbonyl group as well as the hydroxyl groups. So children, these are the three different functional groups about which we are going to study in this chapter. We'll be covering one by one all the functional groups. First of all, we'll talk about these two, aldehydes and ketones. What is the relation between aldehydes and ketones? To understand what is the relationship between aldehydes and ketones, I have taken this example of two compounds where you can see that one of them is an aldehyde and the other one is a ketone. Now, what is similarity between both the formulae here is that both contains 4 carbon atoms. As you can see, C4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are hydrogen atoms 8 and oxygen atom is 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Same way here also the same thing is 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So these are the two different compounds which have the same molecular formula, but the functional group is totally different. One is having aldehydic functional group and the other one is having the ketonic functional group. So we say that aldehydes and ketones are going to be the functional isomers of each other. They are going to be called as functional isomers of each other, and many of their properties are going to be the same. Aldehydes and ketones are going to show almost the same properties, except for the difference that aldehydes are going to be more reactive as compared to ketones. Let's have a look at some of the important compounds belonging to this family of aldehydes and ketones. So children, these are some of very important compounds which we see commonly around us. Like vanillin is obtained from, it's an aldehyde. As you can see, there is a major functional group is going to be aldehyde, and these are not the major ones. These are the secondary functional groups, that is ether and the alcohol. So vanillin is basically an aldehyde which is extracted from the beans. vanilla beans, and as you know, it is used as a flavoring agent in ice creams, okay, cakes, etc. Salicylaldehyde is the second most important compound for an exam, which is 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde. You can see that the name will be 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde, and it is one of the important components of pain relief ointments. So as you can see, they have a lot of importance in our daily life. That is why we are studying this chapter. Cinnamaldehyde, look at the name, cinnamaldehyde. So this is the compound. As you start naming it, suppose you want to start naming it like this. So CHO is the functional group over here, and at position number 3 we have got a phenyl ring attached. So we are going to name it as 3-phenyl. It's an alkene. So we'll say prop dash 2-enol. Okay, look at that. So we are going to write it as prop 2-enol. Why we are writing enol? Because it's an alkene as well as an aldehyde. We are not going to write it like this because there are 2 vowels, so successively we cannot place 2 vowels. So please remember, children, we are going to knock out this E and the name becomes 3-phenyl prop 2-enol. Okay, cinnamaldehyde is of course obtained, as the name suggests, from cinnamon tree, from the bark of cinnamon tree, where we can, in Hindi, cinnamon is called dalchini. So this is a very important ingredient of foodstuffs, and this is a compound. Second, one more important compound which we see at our homes is acetone. This is a kind of ketone, acetone, which is nail polish remover. So children, this chapter talks about all these variety of compounds and their uses. Let's now understand how to name these compounds. Now I'm going to take some examples of aldehydes. First of all, how to name aldehydes in the common name as well as in the IUPAC name. You can get questions of this sort in your board exam. Okay, definitely there will be one question on IUPAC nomenclature. One more thing, that common names are not important, they will not be asking you the common name, but they can give you the common name in the paper and ask you to draw the structure or questions on it. So common names should be known as much as given in the book. Okay, let's begin with the common name now. First, I'll take the simplest aldehyde. For example, I'm taking this aldehyde. You can see this is the simplest aliphatic aldehyde and it has just got 1 carbon atom. So we are going to call it in the IUPAC name as the derivative of the alkane. Okay, the derivative of the parent compound. Now look at the parent compound. It was methane because it contains only 1 carbon atom. So we'll call it as a derivative or the product obtained from methane by doing some reaction on it. So we are just going to write it as methane, knock out the E and just write Al. So Al is going to be my suffix in the IUPAC name. This is my root word and this is my suffix. So remember this point. So this is how we form alkanal. That means I'm going to call it as alkanal. If it's an alkene, alkenal also. If it is an alkane coming from alkane, then I'll say alkanal. If it is coming from alkene, then I'll say alkenal. If it is coming from alkyne, then I'll say alkynal. Okay, like that. Now here, this was the IUPAC name. Common name is going to be derived from the common name of acids. It's going to be derived from the common name of the acids which these aldehydes produce upon oxidation. Okay, so when this aldehyde gets oxidized in nature, let us say it becomes formic acid. Formic acid. Formic acid is the acid which is found in red ants. When the red ants bite us, we can get swelling due to the injection of formic acid into our body, okay, in underneath our skin. So formic acid is going to be causing that inflammation, burning and itching sensation. It's an acid, of course. It's a weak acid. So formic acid was the name of the acid which formaldehyde is going to give on oxidation. So we are going to use this word form except the IC, and that will be my name of the compound. So I'll just write down the common name of this aldehyde as form. Okay, form and then aldehyde. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a very important preservative used in biology labs for preserving biological specimens. So we have understood now with a simple example how to name the compound. From the IUPAC name, we will take the name of the parent If it was alkane, I'll say methane al. If it was an alkene, let us say ethene, then I'll say ethenal. All right, look at this, look at this. So ethenal, of course, I cannot draw because I cannot have two double bonds. So propenal will be the simplest one. So this is propenal, for example. Just have a look at this. So this is my compound, for example. So I will say you are a derivative of propene. You are a derivative of propene, but you are an aldehyde basically, because major properties are going to be due to the aldehyde. So I'll call this compound as prop 1, 2, 3. So I'll be calling as prop dash 2 dash ene and al, of course, prop 2 enal. So common name is there. Common name is not there for this one. There's only going to be IUPAC name. IUPAC name is going to be for everybody. Common names are not for everybody. This was the simplest aliphatic aldehyde. Same way, children, you can understand. We can just put a benzene ring over there and that becomes your aromatic aldehyde. When I write this benzene out there, then its name will change. Now, since this compound upon oxidation is going to give me benzoic acid. Oxidation means you just have to add oxygen over here, okay? So you get benzoic acid. So when I look at the name of benzoic acid, I'll just knock out the OIC. I'm going to completely knock out the OIC, and the name of this compound in the common name is going to be benzaldehyde. Look at that. So it's going to be benzaldehyde. It's also the IUPAC name. So benzaldehyde is not only the common name but also the IUPAC name. There's one more IUPAC name of such compounds which I'll just show you. Alright, let's have an example. Let's have a look at these examples now which are given to you. This is an aldehyde. You can see there are two functional groups over here. Number 1 is here, number 2 is there. Okay. Remember always that the number 1 will always be given to the aldehydic functional groups. The numbering 1 will begin from CHO only. So here we have two such CHOs. So definitely the first and the last one is going to have the number like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So both of them are equally important for me. So I start from here. Now it's a derivative of butane because there are 4 carbon atoms. So I'll just say you're a derivative of butane. Right now I'm not going to knock out the E because it's containing 2 CHOs. So whenever you have the same functional group 2 times, 2 or more than 2 times, then you are not going to remove this E. Okay, so here you're going to write butane dash or simply butane diol. There's no need of dash also, you'll just say butane diol. So when there are 2 aldehydic functional groups, then you will call it as butane diol. Now same way, children, you may wonder that sometimes it can be more than 2 also. Like for example, I can have something like this CHO, I can have one more CHO over here, I can have one more CHO over here. So if there are more than 2 CHOs, then I don't have to call it as a diol or something like that. I have to, in that case, consider the parent compound like this. Look at this. This is my parent compound to which we have CHO attached, and I'll say you are the derivative of ethane. So I'll be in that case calling it as like this. Look at this. So at position number 1 you have got CHO. At position number 2 you have got I think one hydrogen should be removed from here. So you will have at position number 1 CHO. At position number 2 you have got 2 CHOs. So I'll start numbering from the left naturally, because more the branching, more priority has to be given. So I'll start from the LHS. Okay children, please revise those 11 standard ka rules which you had studied for nomenclature, which is how to number the chain, what is the lowest sum of locants rule, and all those things. Okay, so the same rule are going to be applicable here also. So here we have, look at this, 1 1. Okay, look at this, 1 1 2. At position number 1, at position number 1, at position number 2 you have got CHOs. So we'll say 1 1 2 ethane. I'll be writing it first because parent is ethane. So ethane 1 1 1 2 tricarb aldehyde. We're going to write it as tricarb aldehyde. Look at that, tricarb aldehyde. So we have got a new word over here, carbaldehyde. So what is carbaldehyde? It's nothing but CHO. Whenever CHO is appearing more than 2 times, then we are going to use this word carbaldehyde. As well as whenever CHO is attached to a ring like this one, you can see it will be called as carbaldehyde. Okay, so how are you going to name this? If you talk about this one, look at this. So I can just call it as cyclopentane. carb aldehyde. This is the IUPAC name, okay? Cyclopentane carbaldehyde. Cyclopentane carbaldehyde. That is the name. So I'm sure this is clear to you. If there are more two CHOs, then I'll call it as diol. If there are more than two CHOs, then I'll identify the parent compound first and then start naming it as a derivative of that alkane or alkene or alkyne. Mostly in exam you will be getting questions on alkanes I've seen. So ethane, like that I'm naming this ethane 1,1,2 tricarbaldehyde. Coming back to this, look at this fantastic example over here, and such questions would be there in the exam. So here we can see CHO is also there, C double bond O is also there. That means both aldehyde and ketone is there. So definitely the importance has to be given to the aldehyde. That's the priority group over here. So we will be calling this compound as, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is basically a compound which is an aldehyde, so it's a butanol, but at position number 3 we have got a ketone which will be now called as oxo. So the name of this compound becomes 3-oxobutanol, and there's not going to be any gap. Okay, there's not going to be any gap between oxo and butanol, so it's 3-oxobutanol. All right, let's see some more examples. We can see we have a benzene ring attached over here, but it is not attached to the CHO. Okay, so we'll not call it as an aromatic aldehyde, and this aldehyde is a derivative of alkene. This is my alkene. So I will now name this compound, number this compound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So phenyl, this is called as phenyl. Okay, whenever benzene is attached as a substituent, it is called as phenyl. And let's name the parent first. Okay, it's but. Look at that, but. At position number 2 you have got a double bond, but2-enol. So it's but2-enol, but it has got something attached at position number 4. What is that something? Let's write. It's 4-phenyl. So the name of this compound is 4-phenyl but2-enol in the IUPAC name. Look at the next one. Here we have CHO and NO2, nitro, and this is aldehyde. So this is important for me. So I'll call it as 2-nitro-benzaldehyde as the important name. And if you want to name it in the common name, which can be also there, ortho-nitrobenzaldehyde. As you all are aware, children, what is ortho, meta, para? Let me just quickly tell you that. So this is ortho, that means placement of the two groups on adjacent carbon atoms. 1,2 position is ortho. Similarly, if the position is at 1,3 like this, it's going to be called as meta position. 1,3 is meta. And similarly, if we have the groups attached at 1,4 position like this, it's called para, indicated by P. Okay, now look at this one. Look at this one. Like for example, if it is like this, or even if it was like previous way, if it was the previous way, then we'll call it as cyclohexane. Okay, we'll call it as cyclohexane, and its name is going to be 2-methyl, write down the name, cyclohexane. 2-methyl cyclohexane. What is this? Carbaldehyde. 2-methyl cyclohexane carbaldehyde. You are going to write the name as carbaldehyde whenever CHO is attached to a ring, benzene or any other alicyclic ring. Okay, this one, it's a famous aldehyde. Common name is thalaldehyde, and it's thalaldehyde. So we're just blending the word thalaldehyde as thalaldehyde like that. And benzene, it's having two CHOs, so we'll say it's benzene. IUPAC name is going to be benzene 1,2-dicarbaldehyde. Look at that. So it's going to be benzene, 1,2-dicarbaldehyde. So this is the way we are going to name these compounds. I'll take one more important example now. Let's take the example of one famous compound like this. This is your butanol, and it's going to be your IUPAC name, and its common name, if you want to talk about, it's going to give you butyric acid upon oxidation, butyric acid. So this becomes your IUPAC name, and if you want to name it in the common name, then from the butyric acid I'm going to pick up the word butyl and I'll say butyraldehyde. butyraldehyde. It's obtained from butter. When the butter gets spoiled, then it gives you butyric acid, that dirty smell coming out of it. So butyraldehyde is the common name. Now look at this one, 1, 2, 3, and then we have something like this. So if you have something like this, then what can we call this compound as? We have seen such compounds in the previous topics also, if you remember. Look at that. So this is, I'll just show you, iso. Look at that, iso. So children, this is iso. We have got the CH3 attached to the second last carbon atom, so that becomes your iso group, and total carbon atoms 1, 2, 3, 4. So the common name is isobutyraldehyde, and the IUPAC name, of course, start numbering it in that same manner, 1, 2, 3. So its name is 2-methyl propanol. 2-methyl propanol. Same way we can have different examples. One more example I'll take, CH3 CH2 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 CHO, 5 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms. So we are going to have the common name as valeraldehyde and the IUPAC name as pentanol. Alright children, so please revise first of all from your NCERT textbooks whatever questions are given inside the book and in the exercise also. So I'm sure you have understood a little bit about how to name the aldehydes in the IUPAC name. Basically that's important. After that, practice more questions from your book. How to name ketones we are going to see in the next video. Till then children, please take care of yourself, stay happy and enjoy life. Thank you and bye-bye.